Hi, my name is Ivy Masharia and we're at the Kenya Society for the Protection and Care of Animals, where we'll be talking all things animal welfare and wellness.
No, don't like it. My name is Emma Ngugi and I'm the director here at the KSPCA.
So would you tell us what you do at the KSPCA?
Well, here at the KSPCA we are working on the front line for animal welfare in Kenya. And that means we do a range of things, including rescuing animals in emergency situations, like road traffic accidents. We also respond to reports of abuse and cruelty and investigate cases. And we also work in communities on things like animal health and welfare. You want to go down? Okay.
You've done all these amazing things with animal welfare, rescuing them from emergency situations. Is there anything specific that you've done that has made you feel like you've made a great impact? Is there one specific?
Every day that we get the chance to save an animal's life or to help a family or a community be able to live with their animals more easily, it's really important. But I guess some of the things that stand out for me are the fact that in the last year we've rescued nearly 500 donkeys from illegal slaughter in the bush. Donkeys are often the victims of abuse. I think we've all seen donkeys, the way they work hard, the way they get mistreated. And there's also a lot of illegal donkey slaughter because the hides of donkeys are worth a lot of money for Chinese medicine. So we've been working with the police and the authorities to try to stop this horrific trade. And so every one of those donkey rescues makes me feel really proud of our team.
So for example, I'm scared of dogs,
right,
but maybe I want to get one just to get used to it. So how would you go about that?
Well, one thing I would suggest, and it's a fun thing to do, is you can always sign up for a day of volunteering at the KSPCA, right? We survive on volunteers. Everything we have is donated by the public. We don't get any money from the government or anywhere else. And we have volunteers who come to help us, and it's great because they are the ones who can hang out with the animals, help them get used to people and so on. So one thing I might say to you is, why don't you come and volunteer for a day, hang out with some of the dogs, see how you feel. Maybe you'll start to realize, yeah, I'm not so scared. And maybe I might even meet a dog there, and I feel comfortable with that dog. That could be a good way to do it. Of course, our staff here, my colleagues, they know each and every animal. So if it comes to you having a particular worry or fear, they can help you because they know those animals' personalities. So I might say to you, look, I'm a bit scared when dogs jump on me. Yeah. So we'll know. Let's introduce you to a dog that is quite calm, maybe a little bit older. Maybe the dog has lost that puppy crazy. But when it greets you, it's going to greet you soberly, but with affection, and you're going to feel comfortable. And then, as I say, meet the animal. Nobody's forcing anything. If it doesn't feel right, you don't have to go ahead. Many of these cats came from the street. You couldn't even touch them when they came in. But with time, with getting used to us being around them, with volunteers coming and sitting with them, talking to them sweet words, giving them nice food and treats, they relax. And now they're all here around.
So are there cases where some animals are beyond rehabilitation?
Yes.
And if so, how do you deal with that?
Yes, certainly physically. So unfortunately, we see a lot of very serious injuries where we cannot save the animal, or where if we did save the animal, the quality of life would be so bad that it would not be fair. So a good example is with horses and donkeys. Generally, if a horse or a donkey has a very serious leg injury, it can't survive with 3 legs. And so often in those situations, we don't have any choice.
We've seen some dogs here with half of their tails. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, well, so you see some animals here with cut tails and also even cut ears, dogs and cats. And some of those things happen by accident. It can happen a road accident or something like that. But unfortunately, a lot of these things are done deliberately. So some people, use a panga or something.
How does the KSPCA spread awareness to the communities around about animal wellness and animal welfare?
It's tough. I mean, we're a very small organization, to be very honest, and there are very few organizations working in this space across the whole country. But we really try to use platforms like social media, but also our work on the ground in communities, and really take every opportunity to discuss. So, for example, you will remember the flooding. During the flooding recently in Nairobi, we had a huge number of cases coming in, and we were able to work with communities in places like Mathare, you know, actually create relationships with them, discuss with them on how they're keeping their animals, and provide help to them. So, you know, we're not a big organization, but we do our best to take every opportunity. The other thing, of course, is we get a lot of visits here at the shelter, and people can also visit the shelter in Mombasa. We welcome school visits, we welcome university students. A lot of the volunteers here are doing work placements, for example, from university, or they're newly qualified vets. This is a great way of spreading the message. It's fun, as long as it's sunshine. The rain is not so fun. So it's fun, but it's also a really good way of helping school children, for example, interact with animals. A lot of kids are really scared of animals, and so the chance just to even meet some of our friendly cats and dogs is one that they really appreciate, and I think it changes the way that they see the animals.
My name is Xavier. Yeah, we call ourselves paw parent. Yeah. So basically what I do, I keep dogs as pets. I do a bit of boarding, do a bit of dog walking, yeah, and I supply pet food.
So could you explain to us what boarding is for someone who's never heard of the term?
Okay, so basically dog boarding is whereby when you find somebody is traveling and they have nowhere to leave their dogs, let's say somebody's going to work, they don't want to leave their dogs at home, they leave them with us. Yeah.
Are there certain criteria that have to be met for the animal to be accepted maybe into the boarding?
Yeah, one, the animal must be sociable, because if you bring an antisocial dog over here, it's a risk to us, it's a risk to other people's dogs, it's a risk to even my dogs. That's one. Secondly, they must be fully vaccinated and defleed. By defleeing, I mean there are certain tablets we give the dogs, so they don't have any parasites on them. Yeah.
Have you had instances where maybe the pet does not quite meet all the criteria, especially the part with the vaccination and the fleeing?
Yeah, so now what we normally do is, before the dog comes, these dogs usually have a vet certificate that tells you the vaccines that have been done, when they were done, if they are due. That's one. Secondly, for the fleas, you can actually just check. Normally, but mostly if a client has not defleed them, we also have the tablets with us. Okay. So we usually even do it ourselves, yeah, on admission.
What is a normal daily routine at the boarding?
At the boarding? So now, daily routine. So we'll start in the morning. Don't worry, he's okay. His name is Whiskey. He's okay? Okay. Yeah, he's very social. That's why he's... okay, Whiskey, you're good. So in the morning we feed our dogs twice a day. So you have to feed them in the morning. We have to clean the houses for them. Then just before feeding, we have to take them for a walk. Because we actually have, our space is quite spacious, but we also like to walk them around to socialize them. Yeah, so they can be used to the outside world. Yeah, so that we don't have instances whereby you've heard of people opening their gates, the dog leave and they don't come back, or they get run over by a car. So we don't want those incidents. So normally, even if I leave this gate open, for most of the dogs that have stayed with me, let's say for minimum, let's say a week, they wouldn't even go outside unless they're on a leash or they want to go, or I ask them to go.
My name is Kelvin, but on these streets, the cat lovers world, people know me as Baba Snow. Snow is this guy.
This beautiful cat right here.
Yes, he's a domesticated short hair. I got him 5 years ago. He's been with me 5 years. I got him when he was very tiny. And then this one is Flake. He's 2 years old.
2 years old. How old is Snow?
Snow is around 5.5, 6 years old.
Snow was a baby. He was like really tiny. How did you go about taking care of him? Because I know when kittens are tiny, they need a lot of care and a lot of attention.
Yes. So I was taught most of these things. I also did my own research. So I was told this is the type of food you're supposed to give a kitten. And then as they grow, you try to give them different varieties. And then cats are very picky. So for me, I started giving them a particular type of meal. Then he refused kabisa. So I kept trying and trying until I finally found what he liked. And then that's what I've been giving him since then.
What is the routine that you took when you are taking care of kittens? Like their food, how you would groom them, and also socializing them. How did you go about that?
So I would say cats are very, they're creatures of routine. First of all, you need to get a routine. For me, I give them a meal twice a day,
Okay.
morning and evening. Once you get that routine, it becomes easy for you. Number two, just like I mentioned, they are very picky in terms of eating. So you need to try a lot of meals, a lot of food types before you get the particular the right type that they can take. Once you get that, it becomes easy.
What is a typical menu like on a typical day? What is on the menu?
On the menu, in the morning, they do wet food. So there is a supplier of mine who does, who crushes leftover meat, chicken, and then he sells to us. So that's what I give them in the morning and evening. And then during the day, there is a particular dry food that I usually buy from the supermarket. That is usually just there for them to, when they're outside, when they come and nibble it, go outside, yeah, something like that. So, and then every once in a while, you give them treats here and there, just to keep them entertained and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's actually the next thing I was going to ask. How often do they get treats? Because they're chunky.
Well, for me, maybe once a week, I can decide today, let me treat you. I go just buy a whole kilo of meat. Don't cut it, just give it to them like that. They enjoy it that way. I also buy these small treats that we get at the supermarket. I also give them every once in a while, but I've noticed that they don't like those ones. These ones are purely, they like omena, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So I give them omena as a treat.
Oh.
Yes.
Do you ever use your cats as wingmen?
I can neither confirm nor deny. But they are very good at telling. Yeah. So when I see them around a person and they are friendly and that person is also friendly, you can tell this is a good person. And when another person comes and, you know, they're a bit hesitant to approach, you know, that sense, they know. Yeah.
What are the most common health issues that you see in pets, and how can owners prevent them?
The most common ones that we see when dogs coming in or cats are injuries. Yeah, these are what we call vehicular accidents or hit by car. This is when dogs are hit by when crossing the roads, or cats, or animals falling off from first floor, second floor, different places. We've seen people hurting animals by being just malicious, cutting them. You've seen an example here that has come in. We don't know if it was vehicular or it was somebody who went in with a machete and cut off the leg.
So what happens when an animal has already contracted something like rabies? Like, is there anything you can do to help it?
Once it started showing signs of rabies, there's no treatment. Because what rabies does, it affects the central nervous system. Basically, it destroys the central nervous system. So whatever signs that you usually see, dogs running after people, biting inanimate objects, biting people, salivation, increased hypersalivation, you know, those signs are because of the central nervous system has been destroyed. So it usually ends in death. Once a dog starts showing that sign, they die within 10 days maximum.
Do you have any parting shots for pet owners or people who are looking to adopt pets?
I always say that having a pet is a responsibility. In fact, it's a luxury, yeah. But it doesn't mean that that you can actually have pets and take good care of them. I always go back to the Bible in Proverbs, I think chapter 12, verse 10, where they say the character of a person, you can tell a character of somebody by how they treat their pets. So if you've set out to actually have a dog or a cat, please take good care of them. Make sure they have adequate nutrition. Make sure you protected them against diseases. In fact, we have the 5 laws of welfare. So you have to make sure they have adequate food, they have adequate water, they can behave as they have shelter, they're allowed to behave and express themselves as animals, and they're free from pain and suffering.